Hi, friends. It's Deanna Williston with Our Blooming Catholic Life. And look, I have the missal for the personal ordinariate of the Chair of St. Peter. Surprise to me, I literally just got this. I had ordered it because I saw it was only $5. And I was like, well, what a steal. I know it's the end of the year, so it's not going to be good much longer. But at $5, I couldn't resist getting it and seeing what it's like. It's a great peek inside, so we know probably what next year's is going to look like. So, surprise, it is a full, I'm guessing at least, let's hold a notebook size sheet of paper up. Yeah, that's an 8.5 by 11 book. So, surprise! But hey, maybe the print will be nice and big or something. It has one of those nice velvety covers that you know I love, and great artwork on the cover. You could even use that for contemplation. Let's just show inside. What does it look like? It says, Ordo, for the celebration of Mass according to divine worship, the Missal, and the Liturgy of the Hours according to divine worship, daily office for the personal ordinariate of the Chair of St. Peter, Advent of 2022 to Christmastide 2023. According to the particular calendar of the personal ordinariate of the Chair of St. Peter, coordinated with the national calendars of the United States and Canada, issued by authority of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops and the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops. Contents: particular notes on the liturgical year of 2022 to 2023 for the Ordinariate, Year A, weekdays, Year 1, and that's on page 3. Then there's general notes, norms, and explanations, abbreviations and symbols. And then we have the actual Ordo, and then there's appendices, abbreviations of the books of the Bible, table of liturgical days according to their order of precedence, always a great chart, special days in the life of the Ordinariate and its communities, occasions when Mass texts of the day may be replaced, regarding ever one God in the divine worship collects, the necrology. So the table of contents, oh, I hate to open it that way, is kind of small. It's just this little bit here. Doesn't have the ... but it's not super explanatory. You're going to have to grab your own bookmark because no ribbons in here. It is truly a paperback book. Ooh. There's a big introduction, and we noticed that in our St. Gregory's prayer book. If you haven't seen my introductory review, for that, the only addition I would make is that the order of the Mass in the middle was super helpful for going to daily Mass. There was only one spot I wasn't sure of, and that's after the Gospel, sit down. And then you stand at the next thing. But you just sit down after the Gospel, just like you do in the Novus Ordo. Okay, let's read this quote by St. John Henry Newman, my point being which there were quotes by him in this book as well. In the worship and service of Almighty God, which Christ and his apostles have left to us, we are vouchsafed means, both moral and mystical, of approaching God and gradually learning to bear the sight of him. We approach in spite of the darkness. Our hands, or our head, or our brow, or our lips become, as it were, sensible of the contact of something more than earthly. We know not where we are, but we have been bathing in water, and a voice tells us that it is blood. Or we have a mark signed upon our foreheads, and it is the spake of Calvary. Or we recollect a hand laid upon our heads, and surely it had the print of nails in it, and resembled his who with a touch gave sight to the blind and raised the dead. Or we've been eating and drinking, and it was not a dream, surely, that one fed us from his wounded side, and renewed our nature by the heavenly meat he gave. Thus, in many ways, he who is judged to us prepares us to be judged. He who is to glorify prepares us to be glorified, and that he may not take us unawares, but that when the voice of the archangel sounds and we are called to meet the bridegroom, we may be ready. So here are, I'm going to go ahead. This is mine. I got one also for my friend. Again, because they were only $5. Let's go ahead and look at the particular notes on this particular liturgical year. Holy Days of Obligation, according to Bishop Lopes. December 8th, Solemnity of the Immaculate Conception. It does say that's the U.S., but not in Canada. The December 25th, everyone. January 1st, Solemnity of Mary, Holy Mother of God. That's everyone. Thursday of the 6th week of Easter is Solemnity of the Ascension, kept on its traditional date 40 days after Easter, 9 days before Whit Sunday. We don't do Whit Sunday, or we don't call it that in, I don't even know what we call it, the Latin, the regular Latin, right? The 15th of August is the Solemnity of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. 1st of November, Solemnity of All Saints. And then it goes on to, if these dates fall on a Sunday or a Monday, describes it a little bit more. I thought there was something. Oh, and it does go into detail. So it's like, for this liturgical year, Solemnity of Immaculate Conception falls on Thursday and is a holy day of obligation. In the calendar year 2023, the solemnity falls on a Friday and is a holy day of obligation. That's pretty nice. 2, the bishop further decreed that within the Ordinariate, the solemnity of the Epiphany will be celebrated on the Sunday between the 2nd of January and the 8th of January, and the solemnity of the most precious body and blood of Christ, Corpus Christi, will observe, I did say Christi, right? Will be observed on the second Sunday after Pentecost, in keeping with the Latin Rite. Okay, so we're Latin Rite diocese in the United States and Canada, and per the determinations of the Episcopal conferences of both countries. There's a lot of disclaimer. This is who decided this. The Ordinariate's solemnity of title, the solemnity of the Chair of St. Peter, I would have called it of the patron, but okay, will be transferred to Sunday the 19th of February, taking precedence over and replacing Quinquagesima. The Chrism Mass will be celebrated by the bishop of the Cathedral of Our Lady of Walsingham. So a lot of these dates have already passed, so it talks about the Chrism Mass. The Solemnity of St. Joseph tells you when that is. The Feast of Our Lady of Walsingham. And it goes on to the ranking of the different feasts. Woo! Okay, so there's a lot on that. You're going to want to read those. General notes, norms, and explanations for use of this Ordo. Oh, there's a lot here. By a lot, I mean 1 page front and back and half of another page. I just don't know that I would want to read it all, but it lets you know this Ordo outlines the celebration of Holy Mass and the personal Ordinariate with the Chair of St. Peter for each day of the ecclesiastical year according to divine worship. Oh, we already read that. Blah, 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 according to all the rubrics. Legal disclaimers. Is it canonical disclaimer, the correct word? For each day of the year, the liturgical observances for celebrating Mass are provided. Sundays and solemnities are indicated by capital letters. The rank of each day's observance is given to the right, such as solemnity, feast, or memorial, except for optional memorials whose titles are included in italics. The color of the liturgical vestments and antependia for each day's celebration is designated on the right-hand side of each entry and is so indicated according to the norms laid out in divine worship, the rubric, blah, blah, blah. The colors for optional memorials and alternatives are again given in italics. So if it's italics, it sounds like it's optional. Italics are optional. I hope it sticks to that. Otherwise, I'll be leading you astray. Let's see. Observances proper to or optional in the United States are designated USA. If it's Canada, it's written CAN. There you go. Disclaimer. DWN, Divine Worship, the Missal. For each entry, DWM is followed by the numbers referring to the pages of the Missal for the relevant Mass formulas and associated rites. LEC means Roman Eucharistic Lectionary. RSV 2CE, which is 2 volumes in the Ignatius Press edition. That's Revised Standard Version, Second Catholic edition of the Bible. I have the Ignatius Press edition, but it's not 2 volumes, so I'm very curious about that now. It says the citations may differ from the citations given in the Ordo Lectionum Missae 1981 due to differing versification. For each entry, LEC, is followed by numbers referring to the section numbers of the lectionary containing the readings at Mass. Oh, so their Roman Eucharistic Lectionary uses the RSV 2CE. That's why it's 2 volumes. So Okay, so it's not just the straight up RSV CE2. That's their lectionary. So the numbering has changed since 1981. Just know that. Sunday cycle, we're in year A. Weekday cycle, 1. And then once we start the 3rd of December, it's Sunday cycle, year B. Disclaimer. Tells you lots of things. According to their kind and precedents, liturgical observances are to be celebrated at Mass. So like Sundays, except in Advent, pre-Lent, and Lent, and on All Souls Day when it falls on a Sunday, the Gloria is sung or said at each Mass, including anticipated Masses of the Sunday, celebrated on Saturday evening. Ordinarily, there are 3 assigned readings, the lesson, the epistle, and the gospel. For Sundays, aside from the lectionary, psalm, or missal's gradual, except as otherwise appointed, the creed is sung or said unless replaced by another form of profession of faith. Disclaimers. It then talks about when you say the Gloria. So I think this is mostly about Glorias and memorials. Ooh, now it's talking about things in bold. Now there's going to be some things in bold. Optional memorials, feria, votive masses, masses for various needs and occasion. It's also going to note, I call this the paragraph symbol. I don't know what other people call that. Where's it? The paragraph symbol is going to mark notes on special features in divine worship, the Missal. So not the Ordo. I think it's like a black or a dark blue book, which may be useful in liturgical planning and helpful in familiarizing clergy and those who assist in public worship with the distinctive character of this particular adaptation of the Roman Rite. These notes, however, are not exhaustive and do not substitute for acquired knowledge of the Missal's contents. Just saying. I mean, you'd think priests wouldn't really be using this. They'd be using the regular book. Guessing. Aha! Divine Office. This Ordo does include citations for first and second lessons at morning and evening prayer for every day of the liturgical year, as found in Divine Worship Daily Office, 2020 Newman House Press. The Ordo also indicates a distribution of proper psalms for morning and evening prayer each day. Alternately, psalms may be read in sequence over the course of the month according to the traditional 30-day schema designated in the Psalter of Divine Worship Daily Office. In addition, this order indicates those days on which the Te Deum is said at morning prayer, which is most Sundays, solemnities, and feasts. So you can use this for in the Divine Office. Like I said, this little guy told you the basic formula but didn't have the readings. Let's see exactly what this is when we get in. Those abbreviations, they had already told us some about, but I'm going to hold it up for the abbreviations. I don't think they're going to mind that. Abbreviations and symbols. You may need to pause here and look at these. Psalms is PSS. I would not have guessed. Okay, evening prayer I got, morning prayer, ordinary time. Oh, see, a lot of people would say Old Testament, so ordinary time, that would have thrown me off. I would have been like, wait, what? HDO, Holy Day of Obligation. Never saw that. Lectionary I would have guessed, in Divine Worship, the Missal. I would have guessed that too. Interesting. That last symbol says alert, alert. It's also used on Sundays and solemnities to separate the first reading from the citation for the psalm in the 1928 Coverdale Psalter. This is a work in progress, undertaken to facilitate patrimonial Anglican chant. The verses listed may differ from the verses in the responsorial psalm as given in the RSV 2CE lectionary due to any of the following. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what does it look like? Well, it looks like this. It's letting you know what readings to do. So it doesn't have the readings. You still need to have a Bible, but it lets you know what they are. Okay. So let's go ahead. That was November 2022. That's really what it is. But we'd be able to, we'd be able to do evening and morning prayer on our own if we had this and this. Because we can't get that black Divine Office book, you have to contact the Ordinariate offices. And I don't know. I'm not actually in the Ordinariate, so it seems rude to scoop up those books because they are very limited quantity. So let's see here. We are in, as I'm filming it, it's in September. Let me look what date this is going to air. October 9th. So October 9th is going to air. Ooh. Exciting. So October 9th is a Monday, but it's St. John Henry Newman, priest, and its memorial. That's in italics, which makes it sound optional. But hold on. The color is going to be white. In the Divine Worship Missal, you'd go to page 855. The lectionary, you'd go to page 461. The readings are going to be, okay, they don't use the same abbreviations I do. So I'm going to have to look in the back. I remember that was an appendix. Who is Jon? Is that Jonah? Oh, I went too far. Yep, that's Jonah. I can show you that in a minute. But I also ran into the appendix, Special Days in the Life of the Ordinariates and its Communities, and this day is listed. The St. John Henry Newman is the patronal feast of the Ordinariate of Our Lady of Walsingham in the United Kingdom. So, big deal if you're in the UK. But I think it's a big deal for everyone. So the readings would be Jonah 1 through 17, and 2:1. And 10? Okay, so it's Jonah 1 through 17. Jonah 2, 1 and 10. I never get it when they skip verses like that. The gospel is going to be Luke 10, 25 through 37. Then there's one of those funky little notes, and you can't miss the symbol because it's in a box. And it says, the bishop has decreed that as a result of the canonization of St. John Henry Newman, October 9th shall be kept as an obligatory memorial. Oh, remember how I said it was in italics? This is saying this here. It says when, now here it's saying it's obligatory. When October 9th falls on a Sunday, the memorial shall be transferred to Monday, October 10th. Fun fact. In morning prayer, you would do Psalm 80. The lessons would be Job 1 and 1 Thessalonians 4, 1 through 12. Evening prayer would be Psalms 77 and 79. Did I say Job? I didn't check that was Job. JB. Let me go back. You may have to make a marker here for me. Oh, it is. It is Job. I just panicked there. So evening prayer is Psalms 77 and 79. The lessons would be Job 2, and the gospel reading is John 21. And I'll hold that up and show that to you again. Okay, so here's the date, the saint, the color of the vestments, the page numbers in the Divine Worship Missal, the lectionary pages, and then it lists the readings for the Mass. This is a special note to check out, and then this is for morning prayer, this is for evening prayer. The next day, what? Green. It is funny because I also noticed on the other page, they have the same problem we do where there's many saints on one day, and so that's why they're in italics. Pick a saint, pick a saint. Let's go ahead and look at those appendix then. Flipping to the back. So this does take us through, it did say through Christmas tide. So it takes us through the 31st of December. So it does take you to the end of the year, to the 31st of December. There's no January in here. The appendices, abbreviations for the books of the Bible. It's just a nice Old Testament, New Testament kind of chart. 2 columns for each. Table of liturgical days according to their order of preference. Ah, man, it's the same table kind of thing that is in the Liturgy of the Hours for, did we say the Roman or the Latin, right? Yeah, whatever. The green one, or, the 4-volume or the Christian prayer. It's not a proper table. It's just numbered out. There's no columns and things. It's numbered out. It is basically 1 page front and back. Ah, no, it's 1.5 pages front and back. Oh, no. 1 page front and back because the next one is the special days in the life of the Ordinariate and its communities. occasion when mass texts of the day may be replaced. There are ritual masses, masses for various needs and occasions, and votive masses. V3. Oh, so the one is in case of serious need or pastoral advantage at the direction of the ordinary. The next one is masses for various needs and occasions, votive masses, in cases of serious need or pastoral advantage at the discretion of the pastor or the priest celebrant. Masses for various needs and occasions and votive masses chosen by the priest celebrant in favor of the devotion of the people. Funeral mass, mass on the occasion of news of a death, final burial, or anniversary of death. D3 is daily mass for the dead. And it does say when D1 and D2 are not permitted, neither is D3. And then there's a chart. I mean, holy days of obligation, Sundays in the season of Advent, Lent, and Easter, Holy Thursday, Easter Triduum. You're not doing any of these variations. So it's a funny little chart there. That one really is a chart. Regarding ever one God in the divine worship collects. That was in May of 2020. That's the same thing across the entire Catholic Church. The necrology says, of your charity, recommend these are departed brothers to the seat of divine mercy. The Reverend Lowell Andrews, the Reverend Michael Birch, the Reverend John Dale Cornelius, the Reverend Monsignor Lawrence Gibson, and the Reverend Lucian Lindsay Jr. And that's it. There's a couple pages in the back that are blank so you could take notes in it. Oh, made in the USA, Middleton, Delaware. This is one of those print-on-demand books. Interesting. That explains the cover. All the print-on-demand books have the same feel of a cover. Okay, if you have questions, hey, maybe I have answers. Totally not perfect, but so these two books plus the Bible could go together. I do have an RSV CE2, the Ignatius Bible, upstairs, so I would just... Oh, it's also the same color. They're probably going to change the color of this next year, but it's kind of fun for right now that the three of them are the right color. That would be easy for me to grab in the morning. I'm just saying, Ordinariate. Just saying, if you want to make it easy on people. Let's go with the blessing of Brother Leo. Benedicat tibi Dominus. Hey, do they have secular Franciscans in the Ordinariate? I don't know, just saying. Hey guys, if you want to talk, let us know. Benedicat tibi Dominus et custodiate ostendet Dominus faciam sum tibi et misereatur tui. Convertet Dominus voltum summa te et Dominus bonus det tibi pacem. Amen. Oh, in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. God bless, friends. Bye.